Thank you. Senator Grassley.
Yeah. Mr. Ragland, you're the only one I missed your testimony on. I apologize, but I was called out to be on Omaha radio, and we were talking trade, and I said at least you were here to represent the Soybean Association of the Midwest and the national people. So I hope I'm not repetitive when I ask you questions that our ranking member brought up. But in your testimony, you talked about the importance of the Chinese market for soybeans. You mentioned that 54% of all soybeans exported last year went to China. You also mentioned the possibility of a Phase 2 agreement between the United States and China. One of the key pieces of Phase 1 was the purchasing agreement that China failed to comply with in previous years. Are the old purchasing agreements under Phase 1 sufficient for soybean industry today?
Thank you for the question, Senator Grassley. We need increased trade is the bottom line. That is the lifeblood of American agriculture and the American soybean industry in particular, the largest ag export in the U.S. The Phase 1 deal with China had wonderful opportunities if compliance and enforcement had taken place, but it didn't. But we would like to see a minimum of those volumes return, and we need those desperately. As I stated in my testimony, we have not returned to the pre-2018 trade war levels, where over a third of U.S. soybeans were exported to China. The highest we've got back to was about 25%. So we have a lot of room to make up, and the main thing is just getting those volumes back because it has been devastating. Our prices are similar to what they were pre-trade war in 2018, but our cost of production are so much higher as inflation has been very difficult on agriculture in general. And we need higher prices, and that's driven by higher demand, and trade drives demand, and that's what we need because China is such a large customer. They have all of the poultry and all of the pork. There's more pigs in China than the rest of the world combined. Their appetite for the soy protein is nearly unlimited, and that's why they are so vital. We can't just replace them with other customers.
I stressed to Ambassador Greer earlier this year, while it is important to hold China accountable to their international commitments, the United States must find alternative markets for both imports and exports. Over dependence on any one market leads to less resilient supply chains. We tend to stress the importance of China, Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, India, few others for trade, but there's 190 other countries that represent market opportunities. What countries besides China should the United States look to as the alternative market for soybeans and our soy byproducts?
Senator, we're certainly looking around the world. India is complicated, but their large population makes them a target we want to look to, but there's some other barriers there outside of tariffs to do with their business model and their production model within the country. But we are working, our MAP and FMD funds are very helpful as we develop markets around the world. We have asked for increased funding as part of our policy to double those funds because they are quickly used up and there is much more demand than there is supply, and that helps us to diversify markets, grow markets, and we are working. We certainly want to expand and diversify so we're not dependent on China, but as I stated earlier, just the sheer volume, they import more soybeans than the rest of the world combined. It's hard, we can't completely replace them. They're still going to be a major player, but we certainly want to work around the world to grow markets.
Because you just answered my last question, because I was going to ask you about the importance of market access. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Catwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the witnesses, today's hearing has already been